Imagine watching the ocean roars, ready to swallow you whole, or watching a mountain of snow buries you alive. These aren't nightmares from a horror flick. These are real-life terrors that struck ordinary people chasing adventure. In 2022, a fishing trip turned into a watery grave for 5 men. Then our second story will be about a school ski trip 2003 that became a frozen tomb for 7 kids. So brace yourselves for 2 gut-wrenching tales that'll haunt you long after the screen goes dark. If you crave stories that claw at your fears, smash that subscribe button and join our crew. Let's dive into these horror stories. A fishing trip devoured by the sea. March 2022. 9 fishermen climb aboard the Enchanter, a charter boat bound for New Zealand's Three Kings Islands, a remote, cursed patch where the South Pacific and Tasman Sea smash together. The islands promise monster kingfish and marlin, but the journey is a gauntlet of brutal currents and killer waves. These men, shelling out $2,000 each, are chasing the catch of a lifetime. Instead, they're about to face a watery hell. To begin with, the captain, Lance Goodhue, is a sea-hardened veteran with 25 years on the water. He's a risk-taker, known for defying danger to land epic fish. But his record's tainted, fined in 2009 for safety violations, and just months before this trip, fisherman Nat Davey reported him for sailing into a cyclone. On March 20th, despite warnings of savage weather, Lance skips safer anchorages and steers into a deadly stretch near North Cape, a graveyard for at least 4 ships in 20 years. Other charters stayed docked, but Lance promises his crew glory. For 3 days, the men live their dream, hauling in massive fish, their laughter echoing over the waves. But as they head back, the sky darkens, and the sea turns vicious. Winds howl, waves tower, and the boat rocks like a toy in a storm. Then, without warning, a rogue wave, a 30-foot wall of death, crashes over the Enchanter. The boat shatters like glass, hurling men into a freezing, churning abyss. Debris slices through the water, black smoke chokes the air, and the propeller spins wildly. Kobe O'Neill surfaces, gasping, sprawled among dead fish, his mind screaming, "Am I dead?" The world feels like a twisted dream. Jade Cook, thrown overboard, claws his way back to the wreckage, hoping his friends are alive. Instead, he finds a floating slaughterhouse. 5 men, Richard Bright, Mike Lovett, Jeffrey Allen, Mark Walker, and Mark Sanders, are gone. Kobe, Jaden, and Ben cling to the capsized hull, dodging jagged metal flung by merciless waves. They spot Mike Lovett floating, his lifeless body bobbing like a ghost. They drag him onto the boat's roof, pounding his chest, but he's gone. Mark Walker, trapped in his bunk as water floods in, drowns in a coffin of steel and sea. Night falls, and the survivors fight to stay alive. Shay, bleeding out from a gash in his thigh, clings to the hull with Jade, his mind haunted by his pregnant wife and unborn child. The wreckage is sinking, pulling them into the icy depths. The men drift apart, the ocean claiming them like a hungry beast. Then, a faint hope, a flashing emergency beacon among the debris. They activate it, praying it works. For 3 agonizing hours, they cling to life, battered by waves, until a helicopter spotlight pierces the darkness. They're saved, but 5 friends are lost forever. Ben Stinson, one of the survivors, is haunted by guilt, whispering, "I don't know if I'm dealing with it." The investigation drags on, but the sea's curse lingers. The Rogers Pass Avalanche Nightmare. January 31st, 2003. Rogers Pass, British Columbia, a jagged, snow-covered hell in Glacier National Park. 14 students from Strathcona Tweedsmuir School, a ritzy private school near Calgary, pile into a bus for a 4-day backcountry ski trip. It's a tradition, a thrilling rite of passage through a frozen wilderness. But this trip will become a living nightmare, a tale of ice and death that'll chill any horror fan's blood. Rogers Pass is a skier's dream, but it's no safe haven. Avalanches lurk in its peaks, ready to strike. The schools run dozens of trips here, led by Andrew Nicholson, Mr. Nick, a seasoned guide who lives for the mountains. At the Rogers Pass Discovery Center, he grabs a bulletin warning of unstable snow, a layer of icy crystals trapped under loose powder, failing every safety test. But the first day is perfect, the kids skiing through pristine snow, unaware of the horror waiting. That night, they rested at the Arthur O. Wheeler hut, a cozy log cabin, planning tomorrow's route to Balo Pass. As morning breaks, crisp and clear, the group sets out, tracing Connaught Creek Valley's eastern side to avoid the steeper, deadlier slopes of Mount Cheops. The air is silent, the peaks looming like silent killers. At noon, they stop for tea, gazing at the gray mountains stretching endlessly. Then, a crack splits the air, a sound like the earth itself breaking. From Mount Cheops, a 2,500-foot-wide avalanche roars down, a mile-long wall of snow and debris moving at 90 miles per hour. It's a white death swallowing the group whole. Student Will Johnson hears a guide scream, "Avalanche!" But there's no escape. The snow hits like a sledgehammer, burying him in a frozen tomb. Darkness engulfs him, the snow packing around his body like cement. His chest can't expand, his mouth fills with snow, choking him. He's buried alive, counting his breaths as panic claws at his mind. Hypothermia creeps in, his body shutting down to protect his heart. He prays someone finds him before his air runs out. The two guides, Abby Watkins and Rich Marshall, higher up, dodge the worst of the avalanche. They know time's running out. After 30 minutes, survival odds reduce to 50%. After 45, it's below 30%. Spotting a glove in the snow, they dig out Mr. Nick, who grabs the group's only satellite phone and calls for help. They search frantically, using beacons to find buried kids. Will blacks out, then wakes, gasping, as rescuers pull him from the snow. He digs desperately, helping uncover others, but the scene is a horror show. Probes mark burial sites, bodies lie scattered. 7 helicopters, 48 rescuers, and 3 dogs swarm the mountain, but another avalanche could bury them all. At Glacier Park Lodge, Will learns the devastating truth: 7 friends are dead. The trauma haunts him, triggering panic attacks as he relives those suffocating moments. The investigation calls it a tragic accident, but questions burn. Why take kids into such danger? The school faces backlash, but also support. The survivors carry scars no one can see. These stories of nature's wrath are pure horror. If they've got you shaken, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Would you face the sea or the snow? Check out our other disaster videos for more heart-stopping nightmares. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next terrifying tale.